Hello everyone, and welcome to this short practice, and we're going to talk about inversions. So inversions is generally when your head is below your heart, so upside down. And a lot of times when we think about inversions, we think about handstands or headstands, and those aren't really practices that are that common to do or that always feel good in our body. Like they take a lot of strength and it can be really painful, like putting a lot of pressure on your hands. So let's look at some inversions that don't involve putting all of our body weight onto our hands. So first we could start standing. Maybe you want to close your eyes, taking a few breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. Noticing how this feels. Maybe we want to sway our hips from side to side. You could take a bigger stance, making some space for your body. Really planting your feet, maybe bending your knees a little bit. And we could think about hinging at our hips, folding forward, bringing our belly down in between our legs. And then looking towards the ground. You could bring your hands down towards the ground. You could let them dangle. Or if you have the mobility, you could touch the ground. You could also hold your legs, looking through your legs. And this is an inversion. So your head is below your heart here. And we're breathing here, seeing how this feels. We can come back up slowly. If you have yoga blocks, maybe you want to grab them. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can also use the bottom step of a set of stairs. Just make sure it's the bottom step so you're close to the ground. I don't want anyone to fall down the stairs. So the bottom step. I'm going to bring these yoga blocks in front of me. Coming in that wide, stable stance again. Hinging at the hips, bending the knee. I'm going to slowly lower myself down. Maybe bringing the belly in between the legs, hands down to the blocks, seeing what feels different than the last fold you did. So again, if you're not watching, bring your hands to a step on the bottom of the staircase. Looking down, does it feel any different? Breathing here. You could also explore bringing your hands to the seat of a chair and looking down. Looking through your legs, seeing what that feels like. Taking a few breaths in whatever position that you're in. And then maybe we want to come back up and we can try something a little bit different. Now this one, we're going to create more of an inversion. So if that felt like pretty intense sensation pulling over before, then maybe you don't want to try this. You also might trip or fall a little bit, so be conscious of what's around you. You might see me fall in this video. So we're just exploring and seeing what happens. I might take a pillow actually and bring it in front of me just in case. So I have a place for my hands and then maybe I'll move it out of the way afterwards. So I'm making these nice and wide, the blocks. They're on the lowest height and I'm actually going to stand on them. So if you wanted to try this on the staircase, be very careful. And you could stand on the very bottom step, facing towards the ground. Like the bottom floor of the stairs. But again, being very careful, absolutely only doing this on the bottom step. I don't recommend it doing it in the middle of the staircase. That is a recipe for falling downstairs. And then again here, we're going to hinge at the hips, bringing the belly between the legs, and bringing our hands and our heart down and see what this feels like. Does it feel any different? You can bring your hands to a pillow and lean forward. Or you can keep them back. Maybe letting them dangle, touching your feet or touching the ground. Does it feel different? We can come back up, shake it out. We have the option of doing that again. This time, once we're down there, maybe you want to think about bringing the weight into our toes a little bit. And that's why having that pillow might be there in case you want to bring your hands up further to grab you. So hinging, lowering ourselves down, bring your hands down towards the ground or a pillow, And then leaning forward into our toes. I'm actually lifting up my heels. So you're being very careful here. And then leaning back. Maybe you lean back into your ankles a little bit, lifting up your toes. And alternating here. In front. And then heels. See what that's like. And then slowly bend the knees. Raise the body back up. Come back up. Whew. And we can shake that out. Notice how that felt for you. Notice how your head is feeling in this moment. We'll bring those off to the side. You can move the pillow. And we'll grab a chair. And then for your chair, we did that. We tried that option for that forward fold again. Maybe this time you want to bring your legs a little bit wider. So I'm bringing them wider than my mat. I'm going to hinge down. I'm going to see if I can come onto my forearms. So we can start by bringing your hands down. And then maybe you want to come onto your forearms and look through your arms. You can think about sticking your hips back. Looking through and breathing here. And then we have the option of taking our feet back even further. So a step back with one foot and then a step back with the other foot and then pushing our hips back. You can have your hands extended long, looking through your arms, breathing. So this is a version of a downward facing dog. Another option for an inversion. You could come in to a downward facing dog with blocks if you want. There's no obligation to do this. But for that, maybe you would take your hips back even further. So stepping another foot back. Another foot back, looking through. Taking a breath. And then slowly walking your feet back in. Doing that forward fold. Maybe you want to shake out the hips. Bending the knees, slowly coming up. Taking a breath. Maybe you want to stretch up. And maybe you want to bring your hands behind your head for a little bit of a back bend. That sort of balancing out what we did there. We could bring the arms down and shake it out. Another thing that you could use to do this is a wall. So you could come towards a wall, bringing your hands down the wall. As you push into the wall, bringing your head down between your hands. And breathing there. So those are all different types of folds and inversions. And we're getting that same benefit of our head being below our heart without actually having to put all that pressure into our hands and arms. So inversions include many things and not just handstands. So it's important to explore that. Take a second, maybe notice your breathing, notice the temperature of your body. Maybe we want to do some arm circles, inhaling them up. And exhaling them down, inhaling, and exhaling. Maybe we want to bring them up in front and then lower them down, one in front, one behind. You can look behind your back arm if you want. And then doing the same thing on the opposite side, looking behind. Bring your hands back up, lowering them back down. Do some shoulder rolls. If you do them one way, make sure you also do them the other way. Opening up your arms wide and then giving yourself a big hug. Maybe chin down towards the chest. Opening them up wide. Give yourself another hug, the opposite arm on top. Taking a breath. Maybe thanking yourself for this practice. You explored something new, which could have been fun, or it could have been maybe a little anxiety-inducing as it's something different. So just exploring what different thoughts and feelings you had around the practice today. So thank you so much, and hopefully we can practice again soon.